On today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, reports are going around that we're going to see Wolverine in his yellow spandex classic comic book uniform, and I, for one, don't think that's a good thing. A Shang-Chi 2 may not actually be coming out until sometime in or after 2027. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem now has opening weekend box office projections, and they're not great. Robert Downey Jr. has been spotted on the set of Captain America 4. Does that mean anything? Also, parents who tell you you're fat. That and a whole bunch more. The John Campea Show podcast starts right now. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here, from our quaint little studio, brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world: movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, and all sorts of good stuff. Not just giving you our opinions, but giving you information and context so you guys can form your own well-informed opinions, whether they're the same or completely different from ours. Joining me in studio today, we got Ray Ora. Right beside him is Jonathan Voico. Right beside Jonathan is Chris Carr.
Hi.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for making this show part of your day. And let's not waste any time and just get right into it, guys. We're going to start off with this. You know, again, I've mentioned this before, but the biggest piece of movie news I've had the privilege of ever covering in this career of mine is probably when they announced that Deadpool 3 was finally coming and Hugh Jackman was coming back as Wolverine. We were finally going to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together on screen in a Deadpool film. Cannot wait. Very excited. Now, yesterday, we talked about the first images that have leaked out of Ryan Reynolds in the Deadpool costume, very similar to all the Deadpool uniforms we've been seeing him wearing so far. But the first pictures of him on set in that looks great. We've talked a lot about different castings that have been confirmed. Colossus is back. Negasonic is back. Vanessa is back. So they're bringing back all the main players for it as well. Well, now there's a report going around, and a number of the outlets are carrying it. Really, we should file it under rumor, but they are being carried by a bunch of the outlets. The validity is up for question, but basically the report is saying that Deadpool 3 will see Hugh Jackman in the classic comic book yellow spandex uniform of Wolverine. Now, this has been a hot topic of conversation, because ever since they announced that Hugh Jackman was coming back, there have been a segment of the fan base that has been really wanting to see Wolverine in the classic costume. And listen, sometimes it's a lot of fun to see, characters in the classic costumes with Captain America or Superman. They always have their own variations, for sure. I have always been unique and alone amongst my friends in that I think the spandex yellow costume would be absolutely stupid in a live action, on camera kind of screen kind of environment. I think it would look dumb. Like when you watch Logan and you see that character and then turn to somebody and say, hey, do you think that character would walk into a shop and slap on some yellow spandex? That character we have come to know and love in live action would not wear that costume. It's one thing for it to look great on a comic book page, and it does look great on a comic book page. It's also one thing to look great in an animation. It's great in animation. But in live action, the way we've had this Wolverine, that is a really ridiculous costume. Now, maybe they'll find a way to make it work and it'll win me over. You know me, I actually don't care all that much about the costumes. Again, I always go back to this, but CW's Black Lightning show, I really like that show a lot. And that was the dumbest costume of a superhero ever in the history of superheroes on screen. Stupidest costume ever.
I didn't mind it.
You really didn't mind it?
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Oh my God, I thought it was so bad.
Listen, I'm suspending my disbelief for tons of things. I can deal with a suit.
That's the thing, but at the end of the day, the suit doesn't really matter to me, right? So while I'm saying I think it would look stupid, at the end of the day, it really won't bother me whatever he's wearing. As long as he's Wolverine, then I'll be good with it. Now, here's what I think. I think there may be some validity to these rumors, but I don't think you're going to be seeing Wolverine running around in the yellow spandex the way Deadpool runs around in his red and black outfit. What I think, and we first mentioned this about a year ago, I think we are talking about an 80s style wardrobe change montage.
Yep.
Where Deadpool is sitting in the waiting room in the chair with some I don't know, aha, take on me, as Wolverine goes in and out of the change room trying different outfits and he comes out in the yellow spandex one. I think it'll be more something like that. I'm not, or maybe it will be the whole thing. Chris, you hear about this. Number one, are you in the camp of you've been wanting to see Wolverine in the classic comic book outfit?
Of course I
or
am.
not? And then do you believe the rumor? And if so, how much could we see of it in the movie? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely want the classic suit. If not now, when? If not Hugh, who? We have to have it.
Wow. Yeah.
Exactly.
You've been sitting on that one for a while.
The minute this story dropped, I was like, this is my moment.
If not Hugh.
We've basically had the blue and yellow suit or some kind of version of it since 1974 when he first made his official appearance in Hulk 181, I believe.
Yeah. Well, 180
And
technically.
180 because he's on the
Technically,
last
180.
page. He has a cameo at the
Yeah.
end, but then he's Wolverine in the next issue.
But it's all about the cover on the 180.
Exactly. So we've had some version of that, and then by the 1980s, we tried out, the brown and yellow suit. Ultimates,
Okay,
he's a leather
hold
daddy.
on. I see that face. I'm in the minority. I prefer the brown.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Todd McFarlane
I've
brown
honestly
suit.
never heard somebody say. I've never heard somebody say that. You prefer the brown outfit?
And I know I'm in the minority.
I don't like that one. But I do think it could be this kind of montagey moment where it's just Deadpool saying things like, oh, we're going blue and yellow, classic. He comes out in his Ultimates outfit. Yes, I was hoping we'd go leather daddy. Excellent. I think we're going to see a whole bunch of the different Wolverine costumes here. As long as he is kicking ass, I kind of don't care what he's wearing. And Wolverine has had dumber looks. I mean, truly, him wearing leather pants, no shirt, and a leather jacket in Ultimates was always just weird. That's a choice. That's definitely how I think Wolverine would exist in this world. He's run around in like tank tops and spandex pants with little red sashes. There have been other stupider outfits.
I like
So,
his comic book outfit where he's wearing blue jeans and the white tank top.
Yeah, that's classic.
Then was
that.
Was it the Age of Apocalypse storyline where he had the bandana mask? That it comes
Oh, I
with the
think
bandana
you're
mask that
right.
just had the eye cover of the eye holes out for him or something like that.
That's dumb.
I think that was one in there. Now, one of the things they're saying in the rumors is that it will be the classic one, but it'll have sleeves. And we've seen some renditions, I think, with sleeves, but it wouldn't be the sleeveless one. It would be the one with sleeves, which, hey,
Why
man,
would
it's
you
Hugh's
do
working
that
out-
to huge, jacked man?
Yeah,
Why
I mean,
would you
with all
do
the
that?
work he's putting in on that
Yeah.
right now, right?
Show
So-
those guns off, baby.
All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this. So, one of the movies coming out here that I am really looking forward to, and there's been no announcement about it, only that it will happen at some point, is Shang-Chi 2. Now, Shang-Chi to me, and I know I like this movie more than most, but Shang-Chi to me is one of the best MCU movies ever. And it is easily to me the best Marvel movie in the post-Endgame era. And yes, I include No Way Home in that. I think Shang-Chi is one of the best films they've done. And actually, if you go over and look at the ratings of them, critic rating, it's got a 91%, but even bigger than that 91 is the audience rating at 98%. This is a magnificent movie made over $400 million, not big by Marvel standards by any stretch of the imagination, but given the circumstances in which it was released, that mitigates it a little bit. But they were very, very enthusiastic about this film and wanting to do a sequel. Well, then you had Destin, the director, but he's going to signed up right now to do Avengers Kang Dynasty, although I think that movie's looking for another writer right now. Well, a number of people have jumped on Threads. Of course, you guys know Threads. We were talking about that the other day, that it's the new Twitter replacement, and all the entertainment companies have jumped on it. Marvel's over there, Netflix is over there, HBO's over there, DC's over there now. Well, Shang-Chi star, good Canadian kid Simu Liu, is also on Threads. And a fan asked him this question on Threads. They asked him, question, what is the status of Shang-Chi 2? To which Simu Liu said, I was told it would follow Avengers, but that keeps getting pushed back due to circumstances beyond my control. Hope to have more concrete news to share soon. Okay. Now, recently, when he talks about things keep getting pushed back, well, remember, Avengers Kang Dynasty was supposed to come out in 2025, and Avengers Secret War is supposed to come out in 2026. Both of those have been bumped back by a year. So now we got Kang Dynasty coming out in 2026, and Avengers Secret War is coming in 2027. So it sounds like Simu Liu is saying that the earliest we could possibly expect a Shang-Chi 2 is 2027 or maybe later. Now, that would make sense because everything we've heard is that Destin is going to direct Shang-Chi 2. But he ain't going to be able to do anything on that movie until they get Avengers Kang Dynasty done. And I really don't think they're going to be able to do that and then slip it in between Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. So we're probably looking at the earliest sometime in 2027, maybe even 2028 for another Shang-Chi movie. And I think that is a mistake. I think that's a mistake. Now, listen, I love the job Destin did on the first one, but if he's busy with Kang Dynasty, then you bring in another director and you put it in one of the slots. I just think it's too valuable, especially since you're Marvel and you're trying to establish your new lineup of your heroes. And not many of the new lineup of your heroes are hitting home runs. Moon Knight did not hit a home run. Ms. Marvel, while I think that show was magnificent, it wasn't one of their stronger ratings wise. I mean, Shang-Chi is a winner for you. And I really think it's a mistake they're waiting this long, but that's what it looks like. Anyway, Chris, you heard what Simu Liu is saying. He's saying it keeps getting pushed back. I heard it's going to be after Avengers. Must be after Avengers Secret Wars, because I can't see them fitting it in between the two. Are you surprised to hear this? Does this make sense to you? What are your thoughts on this?
It does surprise me. It makes sense with the current trajectory of Marvel, though. That being said, the current trajectory hasn't been all great.
Yeah.
And Shang-Chi was one of the shining lights in the last few years. That film was phenomenal and received really, really well by the public. And I think that's something that they really need to be capitalizing on right now. This is the problem, too, when your universe has all these intricacies as well and everything is connected. It does make it more difficult to move forward when you have to have certain pieces fall into place ahead of another one. And putting all their eggs in one basket with the Kang situation is proving to be a bit of a kerfuffle, for lack of a better term here. That movie was so great, so original, so fresh. I loved everything about Shang-Chi. And in that thread he did too, Simu Liu talking about the things he wants to explore for Sean. I really want to see what it's like for a younger person to have these rings and, what they would do with this power, if they'd fear that power, how it would affect them, could it corrupt them, all these different things to explore, to be wary of it because of knowing what it did to his father. There's so much cool character work to explore there that doesn't have to hang on these other films. You don't need the laurels of the Avengers to make a Shang-Chi 2 work. There's so much there to mine from. You have the whole thing with his sister now too at the end, right?
What's going? Because the movie ends with the 10 rings will return.
Will return.
Where? I haven't heard
they?
anything about it.
And I don't need that to be an Avenger level event. Because we also keep being told over and over again that there are things within the Marvel Universe that don't need the Avengers or shouldn't have the Avengers called in. Looking at you, Secret Wars, that was some lazy writing, I think, of no, we don't want to get them involved and cause a panic. Okay, yeah, that sounds like a budget line. I think that there's a lot that you could do here, and it seems like a really poor choice for Disney to push this further onto the back end of their schedule.
I'm going to throw this out there. Now, this obviously hindsight is 2020, so it's really easy for me to say this now. I acknowledge this, okay? Kang, Quantumania with Kang, it should have been a Shang-Chi movie. I think Shang-Chi, if you needed a movie in your MCU to introduce Kang, I think it would have been much better to have it with Shang-Chi. The idea of, because first of all, it's easy to say that now because I was excited about Ant-Man 3.
Same.
But I did not end up liking the film at all. And so it's easy for me now after the fact to look back and say, well, they should have done this. But really, look, how do you have a fight against Ant-Man and Kang? At the end, it's just like, fisticuffs. It's like, really? Could you imagine a fight with Shang-Chi with his rings versus our first introduction really to Kang? I just think that could have been, now then it couldn't have happened in the quantum realm, which they never should go back to the quantum realm again. So that would be a good thing. Maybe that was where you could have fit it in. I don't know.
No, especially with him first making an appearance in Loki, because in the comics, right, the quantum realm and Chronopolis are kind of interchangeable. That's kind of what they did here. And we didn't really explore the quantum realm as this gateway point for Kang to shift through time and space. It was just kind of this.
It's like a prison.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. And I think that's part of the misstep there is, okay, well, if you're going to make the quantum realm have that tie-in, then make it make sense to me. Don't make it just be this kind of phantom zone that we took from DC.
All right, guys. With that down, let's get on and talk about this, shall we? There's a little movie coming out called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem
Yeah.
that somebody in this room is very excited about. That would be Ray Ora. This is his. I mean, we went to CinemaCon with all the movie stars, all the big directors, all the producers, and all Ray wanted to do is hunt around, show me the TMNT stuff. Where's the TMNT stuff?
And I got it.
You got it.
Even other presentations at the end, if I'd like something, I would just say, Turtles!
Yeah, you can hear, if you happen to be at CinemaCon and every once in a while you just heard a lone voice in the Celine Dion Theater screaming, Turtles! That was Ray. That was Ray. Well, the question has been, what kind of box office opening are we looking at for Turtles? Because we did a video on this on the YouTube channel earlier. And for those of you who listen to our podcast, we have a YouTube channel as well where we put up some shorter videos earlier in the morning. But let's look at the last 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies that have gone to theaters. So I'm going to start with the second one down, okay? So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 2014, that was the Michael Bay produced live action one, which I actually liked. I enjoyed that. And it was pretty successful at the box office for what it was. It made $65 million on its opening weekend, went on to make $485. The sequel, TMNT Out of the Shadows in 2016, significantly worse.
Crazy, almost 50%.
Almost 50% drop. And not to mention, it was also almost a 50% drop in quality.
Yeah, the word of mouth was bad on that one.
Which is too bad because they put Stephen Amell as Casey, and I thought that was good casting. I really did, but it's just they gave nothing for the character to do of any substance. Anyway, that thing only ended up making $35 million opening weekend and went on to make $245 million. You go back to the last animated movie theatrically, that was TMNT in 2007, made $24 million opening weekend, only went on to make $95 million.
That one was good too. I thought that one was good.
You know what? That one wasn't bad. I did not hate that one, to be honest with you. And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 in 1993.
Oh, boy.
Which, made $12 million in its opening weekend, $42 million overall. Well, how is Mutant Mayhem going to do? Well, Box Office Pro has put out their long-range projections for the opening weekend of TMNT, and they're saying the 3-day, that is your standard opening weekend, is going to be $27 to $36 million. $27 to $36 million. Now, that could change. We've got about 3 weeks between now and when it comes out. Could change. And, we was wondering, I'll be honest with you, even though I'm not really looking forward to this movie, I am not a skateboard riding, cowabunga, pizza eating Turtles fan. I am more of a
You don't
fan
like fun?
I like
Yeah,
the
he
Eastman
doesn't.
original black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But
He's hardcore,
Yeah.
He's not a millennial. He's
So
making that known.
edgy.
just saying.
Black coffee, cigarette, turtles.
That's it. But even I will say that the trailers for this have been fairly charming. And I've seen a lot of people actually get quite enthusiastic about the trailers. So I was guessing 45 to 50 million opening weekend. So this is lower than I thought. It got me wondering, why would it be that low? It might be that it's animated.
That's what it is.
Animated.
That's what it is.
Animated could be a thing. I don't know if that's it automatically because the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live action film only made 35 opening weekend, but that was live action. But animated could be a part of it. Another part of it is they are skewing even younger with these turtles. Like one of the turtles, I think it's Leonardo.
No, it's Donatello. That's
Donatello.
Donnie.
Sounds like a 12-year-old. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the fact, Ray and I were talking about this off camera. Maybe it's just the fact that, you know what? Just like people are just kind of over DC right now, maybe just the general public just doesn't care about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right now. The other thing is, too, that maybe it's a systemic of just an overall box office trend right now. I don't know. Ray, I know you're super excited about this movie.
I still am.
What do you think about this projection of 27 to 36 million? What would you attribute that to?
When I was looking at that chart, the winner of that chart was that first live action reboot.
That 2014
You could
one.
call it a reboot, right? Because
Yeah.
it wasn't until the other movies. If you ask me tomorrow, if a Ninja Turtles came out and it was a reboot, if it was live action or animated, and the animation looked like this, I still might go with live action just because seeing 4 huge turtles in real life is such a cool thing to witness. And that's what I think happened with the reboot. Everyone
Right.
was excited. I was super excited when that came out. I don't have the same excitement for Mutant Mayhem, but I am excited just because it's the Turtles. But I don't know. It might have to do with the live action thing for sure, especially with Spider-Verse, like still in theaters. I don't.
And that's one of the unfortunate things it's going to face is it's going to get compared to Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And Spider-Verse is the best movie of the year.
That's why I hope it differentiates itself. And Mr. Mance gave me some hope when he was talking about it behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
our buddy Scott Mance, he was in on the show last week, and he said he really liked the
Yeah,
film.
he was talking some good stuff about the animation, and it had nothing to do with Spider-Verse. He said it was their own thing, and it's good. So,
Chris, you're seeing these numbers. Are these around where you thought they'd be, a little lower, a little higher? Why do you think the numbers are at where they are? What do you think?
They are slightly lower than I expected, if I'm being honest, because I do think the younger skewing here is in the favor of this movie. Right? We had Mario, but kids really haven't been running out to see Elemental, which is a shame because that movie's great.
That movie's wonderful.
That's a
yeah.
fantastic movie that people just slept on, and I don't know why it was getting such bad buzz. It's a great film. But right now, I think this is a really great summer movie for families to go to based on what these previews have put out. I love this kind of claymation style to it also.
Yep.
I think it's really, really rad
You know,
looking.
I didn't like it the first time I started seeing the trailers. I have to admit, the style has grown on me.
I love it. I think it looks so cool. I think it looks wonderful. So I am expecting it to be just a little higher than this just because I do think we're going to have a big family push. But that also could be my own personal bias because I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Donnie's my favorite. I love Donnie
he
so
has
much.
glasses on there
And he's so precious in this. Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at the Paramount shop, right? Because they just released a bunch of Mutant Mayhem, like T-shirts and stuff. A lot of the taglines have to do something with the New York City, the protectors of New York City. There's going to be a big hip hop influence in this movie.
Well, you can already tell that just from the trailer.
and I love it because that if they're homed in,
well, you got Ice Cube as Superfly.
Yeah.
so I love that aspect of it. I hope everyone takes out all the things they were used to before, and just take this as a new iteration of the Turtles, and so hopefully it'll be good.
All right. Guys, with that down, we're still got to talk about Robert Downey Jr. being seen on the set of Captain America 4. We got questions from our YouTube channel members we got to get to. But before we do all that, we're going to take a moment here and thank the two sponsors of today's episode, our friends at HelloFresh and my mobile service provider, Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. And HelloFresh gets it you want options when it comes to what you make for dinner, not just the same old thing all the time. And that's why they offer 40 recipes to choose from every single week. So you'll never get bored and can always find something new to try and love. And when you need dinner fast, don't just call for delivery. Think of HelloFresh. Their fast and fresh recipes are ready in just 15 minutes or less. Plus, HelloFresh is 25% cheaper than takeout. Ann and I are both working professionals, and so whenever it comes to dinner time, we're always struggling with whether we should get takeout. But with HelloFresh, it makes preparing dinner together fun, easy, delicious, and nutritious. We absolutely can't live without it. So guys, right now, go to HelloFresh.com/Campea50, that's Campea50, and use the promo code Campea50 for 50% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Campea50 for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. We want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. From the gas pump to the grocery store, your utility bills and favorite streaming services, inflation is everywhere. Seriously, make it stop. Thankfully, there's one company out there that's giving you a much-needed break. It's Mint Mobile. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know that ever since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've been saving almost 70% a month over my old phone plan. For people looking for extra savings this year, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. By going online only and eliminating the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at HelloFresh and Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, that all down. Let's get into this, shall we? Now, we also made a short video about this on the YouTube channel earlier today. You know, when Robert Downey Jr. said, "And I am Iron Man," and snapped his fingers, I immediately started saying, he'll be back. Robert Downey Jr. will be back. But Johnny, he was on whatever, and he said he's not coming. I don't care what he said. He'll be back. At some point. I don't know if it's this year. I don't know if it's next year. I don't know if it's 3 years from now. He'll be back. Chris Evans will too. You take that to the bank. But when is the big question? Now, Captain America 4, we did a story on this last week. They just recently finished shooting. Right? Captain America 4, now known as Brave New World. Captain America, Brave New World. With Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, as the new Captain America. Now, they were doing some shooting in Washington in the final weeks. And a report has come out from a security guard that Robert Downey Jr. was seen on set of Captain America 4. And this is going around. This comes to us from the folks over at CBR, actually report on this as well. It says, they're filming Captain America 4 around the White House and near my office, said the person. I was on a quick errand walk as I noticed all the lights and equipment and finally asked one of the security folks about it. Shore wrote, he was so talkative and nice, said that Robert Downey Jr. was there last night and they were driving all sorts of supercars. Okay. So this brings up 2 questions and then 3 options. The question is this to be believed? And I don't see any reason not to believe it. Like, I personally do believe that Robert Downey Jr. was seen on set of Captain America 4. I believe that. Now, the second question is, does that necessarily mean that he's in Captain America 4? Well, on that, I think there are 4 options. One is that, yes, he is there to make an appearance in Captain America 4. Whether it's a flashback, whether it's a hologram, whether it's a ghost of Christmas past, I don't know. That's one of the options. However, I personally think there are 3 other options, all that lean towards he's not in the movie. Option number 1. That Robert Downey Jr., who is really tight with his Marvel cast and crew, may have just been stopping in to see a bunch of people. We've seen that happen before. We've seen other times in the past where such and such celebrities seen on set of this movie, turns out they were just dropping in to say hi. You know, Robert Downey Jr. is so tight with his cast and crew of the Marvel Universe that when Endgame was coming out, there's a YouTube video about this. You can go find this. Him and all the OG Avengers went out and got tattoos together. There's a video of him, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, all going out and getting their Avengers tattoo together. He's tight with his cast and crew. So there's a very good option that he was just there doing that. Another option is that he's got a new show out right now called Downey's Dream Cars. And bring up this quote one more time. Last part of the quote, Robert Downey Jr. was there last night and they were driving all sorts of supercars. Now, I'm not saying this is likely, but it could very well be the fact that Robert Downey Jr.'s got a new show on Max. The first season's out right now called Downey's Dream Cars, where he takes a bunch of his classic car collection and has them being converted over to eco-friendly modes. Some being converted to electric, some being converted over to biofuels, things like that. Could very well be that there's an episode that goes, so I decided to take a couple of my new things to visit my friends of Marvel who are shooting the Captain. You know, it could be that. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that's a possibility, that could be one of the things there. So maybe he's just stopping in to say hi. Maybe he was there shooting for something else. Long and short of it is, I don't really think he's going to be in Captain America 4. And the third reason why I don't think, you know, if 1, he could just be stopping to say hi. 2, he might be shooting for the other show. The third thing is this. If you are going to bring back Robert Downey Jr. to appear in something, there's very little connection between him and Sam. Right? Not that Sam isn't important. I'm just saying there's not a big connection between Sam and him. There are other, I think, iterations and other projects they could do where him popping up would make a lot more sense. So while I do believe he was on set, I don't believe it's to be in the movie. I think it's one of those other 3 options, or those other 2 options with the third bit of criticism there that it's either there to just say hi, there to shoot an episode of his own show, whatever the case is. Chris, you heard and read these reports going around. Number one, do you believe that Robert Downey Jr. was on set? Because if you don't, I mean, that solves everything else. And if he was on set, was he there to be in the film or was he there for some other reason? What do you think?
I think he was on set, and I think he was there working on his new show with his super friends.
Okay.
I think that's the tie-in, because there is comic book precedent for Tony's return. And I know the movies, the comics are different. But if you're going to bring back Tony and you do maybe the Brian Michael Bendis kind of AI situation, that's for mentoring Riri, which would make more sense to bring the star power and the charisma, right, of both Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark to Ironheart to get eyes on that show.
That would make more sense.
That makes so much more sense. There's the precedent of having that relationship of him mentoring her via his essence. I believe the line in the comics is, I'm the essence of Tony Stark in essence. And he teaches her about being Iron Man as this kind of disembodied AI that he created for himself in the event that he died. I think it's the third iteration of him doing this too. So you would do something like that. Him being in Captain America 4, unless Steve Rogers is also in it, and then Tony, resurrects himself so he can be with his boyfriend. I don't understand why he would be on that movie.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So, guys, I guess, what do you think? Are you expecting to see Tony Stark pop up in Captain America 4? I just don't see that. Like, I agree. I think he was there, but I don't think it was to appear in the movie. Although I have no insider information that concretely says he's not in the movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you definitively he's not in it. I'm saying I don't believe he is right now. But who knows? Maybe more evidence will come to light that'll change our minds. Or it'll be just what we think it is, that he's not in the movie. All right, guys. With all that down, we are now going to spend the rest of our show here taking questions from our YouTube channel members. Now, like I said, we do have a YouTube channel where we put up some videos every day, and we have a great group of supporters over there called YouTube channel members. By the way, you can go over there and become one of our YouTube channel members, and we ask our YouTube channel members every day to submit some topics and questions for us to address here on the show. So, Chris, what do we got in there right now?
From Joe Star Gaming, I'm seeing Mission Impossible in IMAX on Monday at the Spectrum. Can't
Nice.
wait. It's an early screening, 7 p.m. showing.
Yeah, we are also going to go see an early screening of it on Monday. I don't think we're going to the Spectrum, although I would love to go see it at the Spectrum. We're not going to go see it there, but I'll tell you what, Jonathan, I think you were pointing out, what did you say it got up to today?
What's that?
Mission Impossible.
Oh,
Dead
yeah.
Reckoning?
I have it right here, actually. It's 139 reviews now, and it's up to 99%.
So it was like at 97, then it went up to 98. And it's now a lot of times what normally happens is the first review number comes out and it's on the higher end.
Yep.
And then as more and more reviews comes out, it goes down a little bit, right? This has done the opposite of that trend. The numbers have it came out at 97 and it's just gone up, went up to 98. And now it's all the way up to 99. Which is crazy. I cannot wait to see this movie. I'm very, very excited. Scott Mantz was just glowing about it when he was in
Saw
it
it
too.
twice.
Yeah.
Saw it twice.
I saw it twice.
All right, what's next?
From Alan Sipka, happy Friday, team. Ray, thank you for the breaking news about Pizza Hut bringing back the Big New Yorker yesterday.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait to get one of those and some breadsticks. Have a great weekend.
You were talking about
Carbo
so much.
loading.
I went home thinking I was going to tell Ann, let's order some Pizza Hut. And I said, let's order dinner tonight. She cut me off. She said, oh, good. Because I've had an urge for the Boba Place's popcorn chicken.
Oh, yeah, that's
And I'm
good
like,
too.
oh, you know what? That Boba Place has
Yeah,
some
yeah, I
damn
don't
good
blame you.
popcorn chicken. So we had that instead. So
Yeah.
I'm still kind of waiting for my pizza. Did you order Pizza Hut last night?
I'm actually going to order it today to pick up on my way home because
That's what you said you were going to do yesterday.
Yeah, but it
So
was
you're
too
lying.
late. I
You're a liar.
was already done with work. I'm not going to stop I want it to be like I stick my hand out the window, they give it to me, and then I'm going. If I have to get out the car, I'm not getting that pizza.
What world is this?
What's
where
the
do you
guy's
live?
name from
What do you-
Shang-Chi, the
They just
Canadian
hand you stuff
Ronnie?
from your car?
Is it Ronnie?
Ronnie Chang.
It's Ronnie Chang.
Yeah.
You see his comedy bit about,
Yeah. I've seen all of them.
I want Amazon now.
Oh,
I want
yeah.
Prime now. I want you to preach you my food and spit it in my mouth like a baby bird.
Which
I
Boba
need that
place is
earthly
it?
convenience.
Is it the one down the street with the
No,
popcorn chicken?
they get it from the one that's inside, I think, Ranch Market, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had really good stuff. All right, what's next?
All right.
From Albus Dumbledore 1000. Hi, crew. With its UK release, I saw Elemental today and found it charming and delightfully
good.
to the point where with how bad it's doing seems criminal.
Listen, again, Disney has nobody to blame but themselves for that. You know, when you put a bunch of Pixar films and dump them just on streaming in a row, whole bunch of them in a row, you change the narrative of what a Pixar film is. And then when you do finally come out with one film in theaters, it was Lightyear, it ended up being a pretty disappointing one. So they've had nobody to blame but themselves for that. And you're right, it's criminal. Elemental is wonderful. I'm not going to say it's a top 2 or 3 best Pixar film of all time, but it is true Pixar to form. It is a wonderful movie. If you have not seen Elemental and you've seen everything else in theaters this week, go out and see Elemental. It's absolutely fantastic. And I think it is still playing in theaters. So go check it out when you got a chance. All right, what's next?
So good. It's a good date movie. Sean Clegg just watched Regarding Henry for the first time with Harrison Ford. Good little movie. Different for him. What do you guys think of it?
It's not really that different for him when you look at the other movies he was putting out
At that time.
Yeah, in that era, right? Yeah, it's definitely different for him when you think of him as Han Solo or Indiana Jones or something like that.
But like Working Girl or whatever, you know.
But that was the era that he was putting out like Oscar kind of movies, right? And I think that one's a really good one. It's not one of the better ones on his resume, but I think still a really, really strong one.
And
Have
then
you seen that one?
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen Regarding?
No.
Oh, I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because that seems like your kind of movie,
it.
but you've seen it, Jonathan.
Yeah, I love it. And there's actually a fun little J.J. Abrams cameo. He's the pizza delivery guy.
Oh,
I totally
that's
didn't know
fun.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to have to go look for that.
I haven't
All right,
seen
what's
that.
next?
All right.
From Sean Clegg. Oh, sorry, I just did that one.
Yeah.
Dr. Stinky. Hey again. I am hyped for TMNT.
Yes.
But the issue I have is similar to John's. It does not feel like the awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles we all know and love. It feels like 9-year-old Ninja Turtles
little
preteen
bit.
vibes.
A little bit.
And I don't know if I like that. Anyway, bring on the filthy.
They're tweens.
This is the thing, though, guys. In the past, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who have always felt like teens, have been voiced by 40-year-old men. They have been voiced by adults who did a wonderful job. They are voiceover legends. But this is the first time you have actual, like, 13 to 16-year-olds doing the voices. And guess what? You didn't sound like a man when you were 13 years old, probably.
The hell I didn't. Excuse me.
Calling
Pardon
people
me.
out.
I'm
Get
just
out of
saying.
here.
Your balls have not dropped, son.
Pardon me,
All
man.
y'all running around being like, I gotta get to my locker. No, you all sounded like little sweet babies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Punks. No, I'm just saying, let's find out. Let's find out if we like it. What's all with this before? Let's talk. If we're going to talk crap, let's talk crap after the movie. If
Well,
it's-
no, that's not fair. That's not because for every movie, we talk about how it looks, right? We're talking about how it looks before we see it. And I do agree, even though the trailers are starting to win me over a little bit by a little bit, I do agree that with our writer here that it is a little off-putting to me hearing how young they sound, particularly the one.
Only
like the one who's the
Donatello the
science
most.
nerd
Yeah,
one,
Donnie.
like he sounds real young.
And he's young.
And so, yeah, but you know what?
I mean, I'm not saying not to have your what do you call
Opinions?
it? Your
Preferences?
cautious. Yeah,
Judgments.
Being cautious. Yeah.
But don't let that kill your enthusiasm.
No,
for
I
something.
agree. I say it's one thing to have a feel. This is why I always say this: leave your baggage at the door of the movie theater. It's okay to go into a movie thinking this looks awesome or it looks concerning or whatever. I don't know that this part's going to be good. That's all fine to have all those thoughts before you see a movie. It's just important that once you get to the movie theater, take all that baggage and leave it at the door. Go in and evaluate the movie on its own merits. And hopefully it turns out to be a winner.
And I agree with them with the voices. It's weird to me too, but
It's a fair criticism, but I think because we live in like a CW age where, teenagers have been in their 30s for everything we've seen. And I just say this also as like a kid's acting coach, right? When I'm working with people who are actually in that 13 to 18 bracket, they are typically auditioning to play like 10-year-olds half the time. Those 18-year-olds that I'm coaching are maybe reading to be 14 because they try to get longevity out of these kids too. So there is a very skewed nature to having actual teens in stuff.
Okay, what's next?
From a min, have you watched Hijack on Apple TV yet? Yes. I keep thinking it was a movie, but then realized it's a series. LOL. Looks interesting.
I think somebody wrote to me yesterday asking me that, and I said I hadn't even heard of it. And then I saw it's an Idris Elba thing. Is it a series or a movie?
It's a series that happens in real time.
Oh,
It's Oh, so good. So Logan and I have watched the first 3 episodes. We don't get another one until July 12th, and we are furious.
We mean like 24, like real time, or what do you mean?
Basically, yeah, it's the duration of this flight, which is really,
Oh,
really
crazy.
cool.
sounds
Really well written, really interesting stuff. And at the beginning, you're like, what's going on here? Why would you do this? Oh, it's a whole bunch of long game stuff for dealing with the hijacking. And it's really
and it's
interesting.
Apple TV.
Apple TV.
If it's Apple TV, I got to get. By the way, I pulled this up for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle voices. Anytime, Jonathan, if you can.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's our classic Teenage
How do you
Mutant Ninja
do,
Turtle
fellas?
voices
Yeah.
there. So,
Well,
anyway, all right.
I
cowabunga,
thought you were
let's have some
actually
pizza.
showing something very
By the
informative.
way, the thing that always kills me about this picture is the shirt that says music band.
yeah.
I love that. Okay, sorry. What's next?
From Dr. Stinky. Hey, John and crew, what's your favorite movie with the first letter of your name? Mine would be Logan. Bring on the filthy.
Oh my God.
God. What? Well, it depends. My real first letter of my name, which would be
let's
Giovanni,
go
so
with-
G.
Go with
or-
G, because I'm a J.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with G. I won't say not good, bad, and the ugly, but that's a good starting point.
There's another one with a good in it. That's pretty
Greatest
good.
Showman. Godfather. There you
Yeah.
go. Godfather.
I thought you'd either say Goodfellas or Godfather.
Yeah, Godfather. I'll go that one. What
I'm
about,
going Jaws.
Oh, that's a good one for a J. What about you, Chris?
I'm blanking on K movies.
Kang Dynasty.
Yeah, you're gonna love
There
that.
is no Kang Dynasty.
There
movie.
isn't one yet.
And by the way, that's called Avengers Kang Dynasty.
Well, you know what? I'm helping Chris out. You know.
What
Thank
about
you,
you,
Ray.
Ray? How about you help
Appreciate
yourself out?
Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Rocky, RoboCop, anything like that.
That makes sense.
Oh, you could do Karate Kid, King's Speech, Kill Bill.
Oh, King's Speech would be mine. Yeah.
You know,
So
Kung Fu
since
Panda.
unpopular opinion. I saw King's Speech after everyone was hyping it up, and so by the time I went and saw it, I went, "Yeah, this isn't a good movie."
Okay,
and
so
then
she's
I
gonna
pissed
go-
okay,
everyone
she's
I'm
off.
gonna go with King's Speech then. So that's her favorite.
Yeah.
Kill Bill
K9?
probably. Kill Bill
The
probably
one
on
from
there.
K9, you know.
Maybe it'll be
K9.
Killers of the Flower Moon once that comes
Oh,
out.
there you go.
Oh,
We'll
or
go with
Killer
that.
Clowns.
Once Killer Clowns
Clown
for
from outer
sure.
space. There we go.
That's the one.
All right. What's
What a
next?
great question that was.
From my buttster, what do you think Star Wars can? Where do you think Star Wars can go from here? And do you think its future lies on TV or back in the theaters where it started?
It has to be in theaters. It's going to die if it just stays on TV. It's got to be in theaters. Where does it go? It doesn't matter where it goes from here. You just got to make quality movies.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you can say, you got to make a movie in the Old Republic. Okay, but if you make a movie in the Old Republic, you make it the same quality as Rise of Skywalker, well, what good is it? It doesn't matter. You just got to make a good movie. I don't care. Now, I always prefer that stories move forward. So I would prefer to see things that happen chronologically after the events of The Last Jedi, preferably with new characters, new areas of the universe, new circumstances, whatever. But whatever they do, whether they make it during the Empire era again, whether they make a movie in the Old Republic, the High Republic, New Republic, whatever, it doesn't matter. All that matters is they make a good movie. And where they put it will not help or hurt their chances on making a good movie. You got to be able to make a good movie, make a strong story with strong characters. And then it doesn't matter what era they do it in. So, but it's got to be on the big screen. It has to be in movies. Your television stuff is only going to have any kind of survival rating if it's built on the strength of the movie offerings you have going out in theaters every couple of years. So yeah, it's got to be theatrical or they're dead. All right, what's next?
I thought of a K movie, Kiki's Delivery Service.
I'm
There
not
it
familiar
is.
with that one. Which one's
Oh,
that?
it's
That's,
a Miyazaki. It's Studio
Miyazaki.
Ghibli.
Oh, okay, very
Yeah,
good. Yes.
it's cute. C. Ham. Hi, John. Do you think Sony will actually stay out of the streaming wars? Or do you think it's inevitable that they'll build or acquire a platform at some point?
No, they're brilliant right now. Because in a world where you got all these streaming nations going to war, Sony is just the arms dealer. And they're making great money off this. Seriously, it's one of the smartest things. And all these places chasing streaming dollars, and they're having a hard time, all of them, making any money. Sony has said that their philosophy is, we're just going to create the content that they buy from us. So I don't see, number one, like, let's even say for a second that they weren't selling all this content. They weren't creating content for other streamers to buy at a premium price, by the way. Let's say they weren't even doing that. Jumping into the streaming wars right now would be extremely foolish. Like, as you're sitting back now, you're seeing all these early adopters that thought, oh, streaming's going to be the golden pot of whatever at the end of the rainbow. It hasn't turned out that way. So why would they want to get into that? Well, you already got these suckers all committed to it, and they're all desperately looking for content. And Sony's like, we're going to be the arms dealer. We're going to be the ones that just makes content. And then every bit of content that they make gets into a bidding war. And they're selling all their content that they do put out at premium prices. So I think they're going to stay that course, and they're going to get very, very rich by doing it.
Well, and Sony did have PlayStation Network have original series for a very limited time. And
Very
that
short time,
Did not
yes.
do well, which was a shame because that show Powers was on there, and that was phenomenal.
You know what? We had like $1 million deal on the table that one of the shows they were looking at acquiring for the PlayStation Network was a little show I did called Movie Talk.
Oh shit!
We were actually in negotiations for a while about that, and we couldn't get to a number, but it was a big deal at the time. Turns out it's all for the best because that network did not last very long. Just like we had $1 million deal with Verizon for, what was the name of their network?
90.
Yeah.
Go 90.
Go 90.
We sold a show that I was executive producer of called Awesome Tacular with Jeremy Johns. And we sold that to Verizon Go 90. It was a good show too. It was a fun little show. But Verizon Go 90 did not last. So we became experts in selling content to networks that weren't going to be around
Yeah.
very long.
Did you pitch to Quibi?
Never did make a pitch to Quibi. Couldn't
Okay.
think of something that could only be in 5-minute bites. Quibi. All right, what's next?
From Jesse as a Turtle. Do you guys ever settle for the seats in the very front of the theater, or do you just wait for a different showtime?
Different showtime.
Yeah.
You've never sat in the
It-
front either, Ray.
Oh, you
sat
mean
in
the very front?
Yeah, very front. Not
Oh,
the
no,
front,
no.
not the front of the back section, but
Yeah.
the very front.
That's still pretty front
If there
to
aren't
me.
seats available midway back, it's sold out in my mind.
I've moved to the front when people near me haven't shut the fuck up.
Oh, damn, yeah.
I've
I
never
did-
had to
Let's
do
go.
that.
I did that during Eternals.
Girl.
And was just like, I can't be next
so
to these
dope.
teenagers anymore.
Refund.
All right, what's
Just
next?
Get out.
From Adrenaline Night, movie recommendations. Life with Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Bernie Mac, and others. Have you ever heard of it or seen it? I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
I
heard, not
I have
seen.
neither.
Oh,
I mean, maybe I haven't. I'm just not remembering it. But that sounds weird because that's quite a lineup.
yeah.
But no, I'm not familiar with it
Heck
at
of
all.
a stacked cast.
All right, what's next?
From CJ Rebirth, Joyride is the funniest movie that I've seen so far this year. I loved it. I was dying at the train scene, the party slap scene. Also, Audrey and Deadeye were my favorite characters.
I was actually writing with the director last night.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, it's the funniest movie of the decade or of the last 10 years. To me, it is the funniest movie of the last 10 years. I saw it again the other night, and I just can't believe how much stuff I missed from the first time I saw it because too many people were laughing in theaters that I would miss follow-up really funny lines. And even lines and things that were happening that I knew were coming, and I was still laughing my ass off. It's just so freaking delightful. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. And again, humor is the most subjective thing of a subjective art in the first place. Something that makes me laugh may not make you laugh and vice versa. So I cannot say what your experience is going to be like. I can just tell you that for me, I don't think I've seen a funnier film in the last 10 years. Like honestly, to me, it's that funny. And it's so great that it comes from this little low budget film with, other than, what's her first name? Sue, who's just nominated at the Oscars for everything. Stephanie. Other than Stephanie, you probably won't recognize anybody in it, right? Well, except for Daniel Day Kim, you'll recognize him. But I mean, so this low budget, just real grassroots kind of movie where the director just said, you know what? When me and my Asian girlfriends get around, we just talk about dicks. I want to make a movie about that. It's like, you go, make that movie. And it's so damn funny. So funny. Okay, what's next?
From Joey Hawkins, 1994. Hey, John and crew. Went to see Dial of Destiny last night. I really enjoyed it. If I could sum up Harrison Ford in one word, it'd be childhood. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
Yeah, see, despite the narrative going around out there, the reality is the strong majority of people who are seeing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny are enjoying the film. They like it. Now, I'm not saying the vast majority of them love it, because I didn't love it, but I liked it. Had some big significant issues with it, but at the end of the day, it certainly felt more like an Indiana Jones film to me than Crystal Skull did. Like, and that's at the heart of it. And even though there was some creepy, uncanny valley stuff with the de-aging and all that kind of stuff, it still felt like an Indiana Jones film.
I still didn't think the de-aging was all that bad at my screening.
No, it really wasn't all that bad. I mean, listen, de-aging,
Yeah.
it's like, if you're going to compare it to other things, de-aging is still not perfected.
Yeah.
But compared to other de-agings, it's actually not bad.
I only noticed it if he like looked to the side or like here and it was tracking. But if it was just face on, I thought it looked great.
De-aging itself is still pretty early, right? And now there are some examples where the de-aging looks better, but most of those times, the de-aging has had to be less extreme than the de-aging they've had to do on Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot they got to de-age on Harrison Ford. They're not just taking him back 20 years. They're taking him back 40 years. And I thought they did a pretty good job for where the art is at right now, at any rate. All right, what's next?
From Jay Donvos, I just got out of Insidious 5 and I did not like it whatsoever. The horror aspects of the movie were the only best part about it. Felt pretty lazy for Patrick Wilson's directorial debut.
I'm not going to lie to you. Like, every time I've been in a movie theater where the Insidious trailer would come up, all I heard was some snickering in the
I
theater.
was laughing. I laugh at that trailer.
Well, you and Ann both started laughing out loud at the last time we saw the Insidious trailer, and that's not the response or reaction they're looking for. I'll be honest with you, I liked the franchise in general, but I saw that trailer and I was like, I have no interest to see this movie, and I'm not planning on watching it. And it sucks. I think it only made like $5 million opening weekend. I mean, I might be wrong about
No. The headline was 5 million.
Was it 5 million?
Yeah. When I looked up
Wow.
this morning, it's 5 million.
Can you double check the opening weekend numbers for
Okay,
it?
you want the
Because
ones that
maybe
are
was
current.
that opening night or was that opening weekend?
Okay,
Oh no, it's opening night.
Yeah,
Because this is its opening
yeah.
weekend, right?
So
it's opening
preview
night, $5
made
million,
$5 million.
which actually, that's not terrible
Insidious.
for an opening preview night. $5 million is not terrible. At any rate, I don't really have any interest in seeing it, so I'm not surprised to hear your take.
I didn't even know there was 5.
That, I will say, I know I'm a huge weenie. That trailer, just the moment in the MRI with the jump scare of the thing crawling in towards him. I mean, those are already 2 out of the 3 things that I hate so much. Of
Oh,
just
but
horror, small spaces. If there had been an eye thing, I would have just like
That's
thrown
why
up and
you
died.
have to watch The Descent.
Never.
Hey, but
It's
have to watch
never
The
going to
Descent.
happen.
But Chris,
I read
it's
the
a guy-
wiki.
It's a guy with ketchup in his face, crawling up there.
I mean,
It just
Crawling
looks
up where?
funny. It looks so funny.
crawling up the MRI tube.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
The
What's
endless
next?
It's
MRI tube.
spooky. Mr. Hank Dunn, seeing Joyride tonight.
Nice.
Saw No Hard Feelings the other day and enjoyed it. Most of the jokes landed, but nothing that I laughed out loud at. That cover of Maneater went hard, though.
Yeah.
You know what? That
That was the
scene
best.
was wonderful.
That was the best scene in that.
I agree. That was, and it wasn't even a comedy scene. But it was a wonderful scene, kind of that came out of nowhere in the movie. And I'm sitting there as a guy who plays a little piano and a guy who does a little bit of singing. I'm sitting there like, oh, they're going to get the actor to do a little bit of singing. It'll be quaint. And then as the song kept going on, it's like, this guy's pretty good. And then the song kept going. It's like, no, this guy's really good. And I was like, it was a great scene.
I mean, it's like it told you that despite it's kind of like a thing. Like despite what you may think of yourself, there's always someone out there that thinks better than you think of yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
All right. What's next?
Let me
From,
move it up here because it's the bottom.
From Cody Hunt, I'm super pumped for Oppenheimer. Quick question. Is it best to see it in 70 millimeter or in IMAX? Unfortunately, there isn't a 70 millimeter IMAX in Kansas City.
Well, here's the thing, Cody. As somebody who has not seen Oppenheimer, I can't answer that question. So I'll just go on.
sorry.
He shot, I believe, this movie in 70 millimeter IMAX. So that will probably be the best viewing experience. That doesn't matter to me. I'm still probably going to see an AMC Dolby Prime. But if you're wondering, like regular IMAX or 70 millimeter IMAX, ideally 70 millimeter IMAX. But honestly, if it's a good movie, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about it so much.
I'm sorry. I just had the funniest thought. Watching Oppenheimer in 4DX. It's just still the whole time until the bomb.
Until the bomb goes off and then the chair.
That's the only part it moves.
All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all of our YouTube channel members for supporting us, for sending in those great comments and topics for us to enjoy talking about. Guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend ahead of yourselves. Actually, me and you guys know Dennis Zen. Dennis Zen and,
Yeah, Dennis.
me and Ann, we're going to go see John Williams tonight in concert at the Hollywood Bowl. I think it's going to be his last one. I think this will be his last year doing his annual Maestro of the Movies concert. We're going to make a little video out of it too, so watch for that to pop up later tonight as well. Have a fabulous weekend, guys. So for Ray Ora,
Yep. Have a good weekend.
Jonathan Voico,
See you later.
Chris Carr,
Bye, guys.
my name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.